This is Donald Parham. You're listening to Chargers Unleashed, part of the LAFB Network. Stay jiggy.
Hey, this is Chris Rupp II, Chargers outside linebacker, and make sure you check out Chargers Unleashed. Shout out to Chargers Unleashed, Sebastian Joseph. They know the vibes. We outside.
You checking in with Mike Williams from the LA Chargers, and you're tuning in to Chargers Unleashed.
You're listening to the Chargers Unleashed podcast with your host, Dan Wolkenstein and Jake Hefner.
Welcome to another edition of Chargers Unleashed. Jake Hefner and Dan Wolkenstein here with you from the LAFB Network. Today's show, of course, is being brought to you by BetOnline, Charger Bolt Family, and Rock Solid Sports Memorabilia. If this is your first time tuning in this show, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Dan Wolkenstein. Woo! Think of it, my friend. You could feel it less than 30 days away from the 2023 NFL Draft. We are in the heat of draft season. Just got done talking earlier this week about the best edge fits for Los Angeles Chargers as it relates to Dan and I. And obviously, we still got 28 days, people. There's a lot of things that can fluctuate between now and then. So these lists, as Stephen A. Smith likes to say, they are fluid. We are going to continue with our prospect breakdowns with the cornerback class. Next, I promise you, for those of you who are asking, yes, we will get back into the offensive side of the ball. So do not worry about it. Let's not forget, not too long ago, we did the best fits for wide receiver. That was the first position that we did. So I know you're all clamoring for offensive positions, and I promise you, Dan and I are going to get back into that. But today, Dan, what the hell? Let's do a mock. Let's do dueling mocks.
We're going to have a spicy one today for our viewers and listeners. Can't wait for this one. What we're going to do to make this as even as possible, we're leaving it up to chance. Literally coin flip to decide left or right, which side Jake is going to be doing versus me. We'll have two windows up. And then another coin toss to decide if that side gets to do a trade or not. So one of us will be doing a mock draft that allows trades, one trade. The other one is going to have to stick and pick for all basically 4 rounds of
4 rounds.
The mock draft.
So basically, one of us is going to be boring. The other one's going to have some excitement.
Or one of us picks the right players and one of us picks the wrong ones.
Wow. Okay. You can throw that coin toss anytime, my friend.
All right. Before we get to the draft, which, by the way, Jake, you saw DeAndre Carter now, member of the Las Vegas Raiders. So wide receiver is a position that folks are like, well, chances of, I think you tweeted about it, chances of them double dipping just went up even more. Before we get into the mock drafts season, over under, how many receivers combined in these two mock drafts by the end of it? Again, 4 rounds, so a total of 8 rounds, if you will. Over under, I want to put the number at 3.5. Total receivers picked by us combined.
In a 4-round mock draft. And you put it at 3.5, I'm gonna have to say under. And I say that unfortunately because the possibilities to double dip on wide receiver are just exponentially higher if the Chargers end up executing a trade down, which one of us is going to get the opportunity to do that. If they stay pat, I'm not sure in the first 4 rounds that you're going to be able to target 2 wide receivers.
All right. Well, I think Jake's showing his cards a little bit here. Okay. Man, talk about BetOnline because I want to get into this draft. I'm ready to smoke show this. Let's go.
Same here. Let's see how quick I can get through this ad read. I want to remind everybody that BetOnline still remains your number one source for all of your sports betting needs this season. Always the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your favorite sports. So head on over to betonline.ag to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus with your first deposit. Make sure to use that promo code BELIEVE. That's BLEAV to receive your rewards. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Jake, let's get this thing rocking. All right. So first coin flip.
Just tell everybody what each coin flip is determining.
The first coin flip is going to be a total of 2. First coin flip. Heads is going to be the left side gets a trade. Tails is the right side gets a trade. And then whichever one is not, does not get to trade. Okay? So heads is left, tails is right.
Sounds good.
Coin, here we go. Heads is left. So the left side of our screen, which we'll be sharing here shortly, we'll get to do one trade in the 4-round mock draft. Right side does not. All right, Jake. Jake's like clamoring to get the left side. Heads. I'll let you go first, Jake. Heads or tails? You get to choose.
Heads. Hit me.
Damn it. Jake gets heads. Jake, do you want the trade side or the non-trade side?
You know what? Believe it or not, Dan, I'm going the trade side.
I was like, there's no way. There's no way. All right, so Jake gets...
Give me the trade side.
Strong side, the left side. That's one trade. Dan has to stick and pick. Damn it. All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and share this screen and get this thing rolling. So, Jake, friends of ours at NFL Mock Draft Database, going to be using theirs. We're going to be sharing our screen. Hopefully, we can make this easy to follow for folks listening as well. Time to have some fun. Jake, you're on the left. I'm on the right. Jake, may the odds be forever in your favor.
With my bad eyesight, I really have to lean into this computer screen so I can see who exactly we're dealing with here.
All right, so we got these simulators going on both sides. Jake is on the left. I'm on the right. Jake received 5 trade offers.
Okay, so let's see. Trade offer from Cleveland. Cleveland sending an additional 3rd, an additional 4th this year, and a 2024 round 2. From where they're coming from, Dan? Now, show me the next one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm gonna say no to that one.
Yeah, I'm not too enthralled with that one. Arizona here. Okay, this one's a little bit more enticing. To move up to 21, they're giving me 34 overall, an additional 3rd, 96, and a 6th round. That one's pretty good.
That's 4 picks in the top 100.
Now, if you cycle past this, can you go back to this?
Yes.
Okay, so just so I make sure, because this one's pretty good. Okay, so
Arizona's there. And you're going to swipe past Detroit. There's no way.
I mean, okay, I want to keep this as realistically as possible because some of these trade offers are just...
Yeah, Detroit's offering 48, 183, and then 2 third-round picks next year. As much as, I mean, that might be realistic, but there's no way the Chargers do that.
Okay, yeah, and show me the last 2.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh. No, that still doesn't entice me enough.
Pittsburgh's offering 32 and 120 this year and 241. So a 1st, a 4th, and a 7th this year and a 2nd next year.
Yeah. I'm going to keep everything as it relates to this year. So show me one more. Bengals, 28. What is that? An additional 5th?
Yep.
7th. Okay, no. So give me the Cardinals offer.
You're going Cardinals. All right. So for 21, Jake is trading away 21 for the Cardinals 34, 96, and 213.
Yes.
Okay. Jake executes the trade. We're going to go ahead and push this through. And Jake is now on the board at pick 34.
So I can only execute one trade.
Because you already got your trade done.
Take those
Jake's
off.
first pick at 34.
God. Now, see, this is very interesting, but you got some major value here with Brian Branch still being on the board. Now, Dan, I'm also going to try to be as realistic as I can with some of these situations.
I'm going to take advantage of as much as possible.
As we know with mock draft databases, their rankings can be all over the place. So in this situation, I've got Brian Branch on the board, still sitting there. And what are we at? 34 or 35, Dan?
You are at 34.
34.
Real quick, before you get to your pick. So, what's your overall strategy right now going into this draft?
So, obviously, for skill positions that you're looking for, that's definitely at the top part of your list. The edge position, whatever that's left off at your list, you definitely need to prioritize that. But you can't ignore a value like Brian Branch in this particular scenario. And I know everybody's going what the hell are you talking about? What are you doing? But you still have to find some competition at that free safety position. And yes, as it stands right now, we don't know what's happening with John Jones and the Chargers and him possibly coming in. Obviously,
John Jones is boxing.
Sorry, got my MMA mixed up a little bit. John Johnson, thank you for correcting me, Dan. We don't know what's happening with John Johnson coming into the Chargers, and until that is figured out, this seems like a reasonable selection to me. But I have to consider who else I have on the board here. Dalton Kincaid, which is a tight end that people love. People think it's way too rich at 21. Will McDonald being here at 37, I almost feel like I would just be going against myself if I didn't make this selection. But I'm up in like another 20 picks, and he most likely will not be there. Again, realistic as possible.
So edge players remaining: Will McDonald, B.J. Ojulari, Phoenix Anaduki Uzoma, Anatomy Adebaware, Keon White, Isaiah Foskey.
Show me the
edge.
Show me the wide receivers that are still available just for kicks.
Wide receiver: Josh Downs, Tyler Scott, Tank Dell, Cedric Tillman,
Okay.
Marvin Mims.
Show me the tight ends one more time.
Show me your tight ends. Okay. Easy there, Turbo. Dalton Kincaid at 25, Luke Musgrave, Sam Laporta, Tucker Kraft. 25 ranked player, excuse me. Dalton Kincaid, Luke Musgrave, Sam Laporta, Tucker Kraft. And
again,
just putting this out there, running backs got Jahmyr Gibbs, Zach Charbonnet, Devin A. Chain, Tajay Spears.
So I am drafting with the notion that as of right now, Austin Ekeler is returning.
Yes.
To the Chargers. And again, if this exact scenario ended up playing out with Brian Branch being here at 35, that's just thievery for the standpoint of whoever.
But do you do it?
Should be drafting it here. But like I said, realistic, Dan, being realistic to the fact that Brian Branch shouldn't be here.
I think it is realistic. There's a world in which Brian Branch falls to the very beginning of round 2.
I would be shocked if that happened. I will narrow my choices down to the two individuals that I think could realistically still be here. And that could be Will McDonald and Dalton Kincaid. In which case, I'm going to select Will McDonald. It was a player that has been mocked to the Chargers at 21. I'm now getting him at 34.
And unfortunately, I'm now having to forego the 6 trade offers that I've been given for pick 21. Instead, I'm going to stick and pick. And somehow, Bryce Young is still available, but we're going to ignore that here.
Wow. What? I almost want you to reload this because we know that that's not going to be possible. Like, what type of junky draft just came
I'll reload it. That's fine. Let's do it.
I'm totally fine on being fair about that. Like,
yep, let's reload.
Let's keep it as real as we can.
All right, here we go. And we're off. Okay, so Jake got to trade back, accumulate more picks. I'm having a stick and pick on the right side because that's how the coin was tossed. All right. Here we go.
Wait.
Of course, I'm having a forego.
Dan.
Here we go.
Oh, Dad, this is just pure punishment for you. And you know what you should do, especially after your recent tweets in the last 24 hours.
Oh, man. Okay, so Jordan Addison goes right before the Chargers at pick number 20.
Do it, Dan.
All right, so folks available. We got Bijan Robinson, JSN, Brian Branch, Michael Mayer is still available. Dalton Kincaid is also available. And Darnell Washington. All 3 of those guys still available. Edge players, Will McDonald, B.J. Ojulari. I'm not going edge in this class, honestly, at this point. Oh, man. Jackson Smith and Jigba and Zay Flowers are available.
Dear Lord. You know exactly what you should do.
I'm going to have to do this, aren't I?
I'm
going to have to go Bijan Robinson. I'm going to eat crow. I'm doing it before I even get a chance to think about it.
Smart thing.
I have come around. As much as it pains me to admit I'm taking a running back in round 1, you all might be right that this one is different. And Bijan Robinson is my pick at 21. All right, Jake, you are up.
All right. So for my second round pick, sitting here.
Pick 54.
Pick 54. So let's see.
You've currently gotten Will McDonald. So you got 34, 54, 85, and 96.
And 125.
Top 100.
Let's see here. Okay. Josh Downs, big fan of Josh Downs. Jack Campbell. Obviously, you got to fill that in some need, even with the signing of Eric Kendricks. Show me what's left on the wide receiver board as it stands right now, Dan. Okay,
Open. Get as much as you want. Tyler Scott, Tank Dell, Mims, all still there. And just for giggles, Sam Laporta and Tucker Kraft also available.
Oof.
Charbonnet, A-Chain. There at running back. Fan favorite, Sidney Brown.
See, but this is where I put myself in a little bit of a pigeonhole here for the fact that I went to defense first. So I almost
Jake's already regretting it. I love it. Oh,
I already feel like I have to go wide receiver in this type of scenario. So, oh man, go back there, Dan. Thank you. Damn. Scroll down for me a little bit just so I can see what's the rest of that list looks like.
Jake's currently looking through the wide receivers. Got folks like Rashee Rice on the board, Parker Washington. Again, we're only at pick 54 for you. So you got a ton of guys still here, obviously. But how much are you willing to let one of these guys go?
Right. That's what I'm trying to put through right now.
This is drama, folks. This is drama. You got folks on the edge of their seats waiting for you, Jake.
I'm sure they're not waiting for me. They're yelling currently through their computer screen or their radio saying, "What are you doing, you moron?
Sprint it in." That's what they're saying. Exactly. Sprint it in.
God, I love Josh Downs. But in terms of the I think
do it. You know who you want.
Do it that I want. I mean, again, educated feet. He was one of my best fits when we did the wide receiver prospect breakdown. I know what my strategy is in terms of wanting to get another receiver on top of this with my plan. So for now, go ahead and give me Josh Downs.
Interesting. Was not expecting to go for Josh Downs. Okay. Pick is in for Jake. All right. So for me, I again have gone so far. Bijan Robinson completely retool Chargers running game. So I'm looking tight end. I'm looking edge, possibly safety. Let's see here. Sidney Brown available. What's the corner situation look like? DJ Turner. No. I need speed. I've been clamoring for it all off season. So I'm 54, and my next pick is until 85. So the problem I have
are right there.
The challenge I have is Tyler Scott, Tank Dell, and Marvin Mims. All three of them are right here. Do I risk it in that one of those guys falls to 85 and go tight end, and I can go with the Sam Laporta type? Or I can go edge route. Isaiah Foskey and Derek Hall are both here. Oof. I might shock the world here.
I knew it. One of Dan's favorites.
I have to. Isaiah Foskey, gonna be my selection.
Oh, wow. I am actually surprised. I thought you were going to pull the trigger on Derek Hall.
Nope. I went Isaiah Foskey. I think he's better suited for the Chargers overall in terms of, I think he gives them both interior and exterior. Derek Hall, I think, gives them more exterior. So I'm going for value here. Isaiah Foskey, edge position, taken off the board for me. Jake, you are now on the board at pick number 85.
See,
currently, Jake has taken Josh Downs and Will McDonald.
This is going to be such an
Jake
oblong
available.
Who I have
See,
left.
now this is why I went the way I did, Jake, and I actually took away.
No, and this is why we do dueling ones, and this is why we put in the parameters of what each person could do as far as trades or no trades. And
Yes,
I like
because the thing is, you took Josh Downs, but even still, Tyler Scott, Tank Dell, and Marvin Mims all there for you.
which I pretty much which I pretty much know about 99% of who I'm going to pick, but I still want to just survey the board here. Dan, show me the tight ends.
Okay, let's go to tight ends for Mr. Jake Hefner. Ooh. Tucker Kraft still available.
When is my next selection?
11 picks away. You're 85 and the 96. I think I know what I would do if I was you, but man.
Wait, go back to that. Good Lord. Oh,
cycling through the running backs that are available.
They're just
still
screaming at me right now.
Yep. So Jake's gone edge, then receiver, which, by the way, A plus given to you so far. A for me on my first two picks of 21-54. Bijan Robinson and Isaiah Foskey. Jake, what's you doing?
I'm going to gamble. Take me back to tight end again.
Oh, that's what I would do, honestly.
I'm going to gamble.
Actually, no. There's one more thing I would do.
I'm going to gamble because I have the next player in mind. Hopefully he makes it another, 11 picks down to me that I could select him.
And it's a receiver, right?
It is a receiver. So give me Tucker Kraft.
South Dakota State tight end Tucker Kraft. Now, Jake, here we go. All right, on the board for me. I've gone running back. I have gone tight end. No, excuse me. I've gone running back. I've gone edge. Oh, and wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know it?
Don't even say a word, Dan. Just make the selection and let's move on.
Honestly, this feels so good to see. Imagine the Chargers, and I've said this. I think I said this a couple weeks ago. If the Chargers somehow can pair a one Bijan Robinson with the Nathaniel Tank Dell in the same draft, I'm doing backflips, and I just did one because I just selected Tank Dell without hesitation. Chargers get Tank Dell in the third round.
Justin Herbert's happy.
Justin Herbert is very happy. Oof. Okay, let's see. Did Jake get one of his guys to fall to him? Moment of truth. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. give me Marvin Mims, baby. Give me Marvin Mims. Return capability, which is going to fill the hole of the departed DeAndre Carter. Also a downfield threat. Also underrated speed that he brings to the game. Dan, I believe one of your favorites that you had in your list.
Top 5 favorite fits for the Chargers. 100%. All right, again, just to recap so far, Jake at 34, of course, traded down. Will McDonald at 34. 54, Josh Downs, the receiver. Jake double dips already because 2 picks later picks Marvin Mims at 96. And then Tucker Kraft, the tight end, Jake brings in at 85. So far for me, Dan has gone through 3 rounds. Bijan Robinson, running back, edge, Isaiah Foskey of Notre Dame, and Tank Dell.
It's pretty damn good.
Dang. Whew. These are pretty good dueling drafts right now. All right, so my last pick, because I did not get to... Oh, man, he's just staring at me in the face. Now, I didn't get the trade back. And so... a part of me I go look at the tight ends. None of those scream my name because honestly, none of them I think are better than what we have currently with Gerald Everett and Donald Parham. Zach Kuntz, Josh Wiley, Luke Schoonmaker. No thanks. Running backs, already got my guy, so don't need to worry about this. I could go interior offensive line. Chargers could use some depth there, obviously at the tackle position as well.
You wouldn't attack that until later.
But I'm not going there yet. Linebacker, the Chargers could absolutely go to. I don't think they need to do that right now either. Although there's some options here.
There's one right there that if you pass on him now, he may still be. Oh, no, this is your last pick.
Yeah, this is my last one. So I don't think this is my last one. So I look at who I've gotten so far, and I've talked about the Chargers needing to add weapons. And I've talked about the Chargers defense needing to stop the running game and need to get better on the edge. I think Isaiah Foskey does both of those. To me, I look at this in the first 4 rounds. I want to add as many impact players as I possibly can. There's a couple options here. I got Bijan Robinson. Huge. I got my Tank Dell. Also huge. But what I don't have is another receiver that can take the top off, but also is a little bit bigger sized than a one Tank Dell. And there's one just punching me in the face right now that I have been high on since we did our wide receiver episode. I think I'm going to have to go this way.
Interesting.
God dang it. I'm looking at Trey Palmer. He's just staring at me in the face.
Let me ask you a question, Dan. How realistic would it be for Tom Telesco, who is notorious for never trading down, by the way, for him to select 2 wide receivers with his first 4 picks if he did not even execute a trade down?
In most years, I'd probably say it's not at all possible.
So you still believe that even if he does not make a move to go down in the draft and move back, that he could still draft 2 receivers?
In the first 4 rounds?
In the first 4 rounds.
It's probably unlikely. Highly unlikely.
Yes.
That he picks 2 receivers. But again, this is me. I'm dueling against Jake Hefner. And I only got 4 picks. And this D-head next to me has got like 600 or 700 picks, it feels like. So I got to go impact. I got to go value here. Byron Young is still there too. Parker Washington, no.
Tyler Steen, one of Trevor Sycamores in his latest mock draft, had the Chargers taking him in the 3rd round. But I still think that you get offensive line depth later in the draft.
I could go get Jalen Jones. Corner, we know how much Brandon Staley likes his corners. I think they can do that later. I'm doing it. I'm going Trey Palmer. I'm adding weapons. I'm putting an arsenal with Jake Hefner. Excuse Jake Hefner. He wishes. Arsenal with Justin Herbert. A little bit of a reach for Trey Palmer, but I think for me, in my eyes, I needed to do it because I think the drop off after that goes a little bit. And I run out of here with Bijan Robinson, Tank Dell, and Trey Palmer added to this Chargers offense. And I get Isaiah Foskey for an edge / interior. He can play both, help with the run and the pass. Jake, your next pick.
Reality, Dan Wolkenstein's draft stopped after round 3. He's like, mic drop, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm out of here.
All right, Jake's last pick, 125. He currently has taken an edge, 2 receivers, and Tucker Kraft. So, Jake, the board is yours. On the board, you already got 2 receivers. So the likes of Parker Washington, Jaden Reed, don't need to worry about them. Tight end you already got as well.
Show me the linebackers.
Let's go linebacker for Jake. Dorian Williams, Ivan Pace, Nick Herbert is there.
Show me the corners. Okay.
Mekhi Blackman. Mekhi Gardner.
Show me the interior defensive lineman. Okay. Go back to all.
So now going back to BPA.
Man, oh man.
Tank Bigsby, running back out of Auburn. Have you seen his highlights? My goodness.
Scroll down that list for me, if you wouldn't mind. Oh, good Lord.
Jake's irked. He's staring at Daniels Hall and is like, wow, how can I compete with that?
Keep scrolling.
Oh, Jake's reaching. Oh, man.
No, I just wanted to see what was there. There actually is a player that, and we haven't talked about the safety class yet, but is actually one of my favorite safeties in that class, and that's Jair Brown. Just as far as the overall fit goes for the Chargers,
Jake's going BPA if you went that pick.
It's a very interesting way that this board fell to me. Again, I'm still operating with the notion that Austin Ekeler would still be with this Chargers team. And I have gone sufficiently on offense with my last 3 picks. Haven't selected a defensive player since my first selection. So I feel like I have to flip back to that side of the ball. But good Lord, it's making it tough. Man, I don't know who the hell was drafting in front of me in this particular draft, but let's just say they weren't the smartest.
Woo-wee.
God, another one of my
Crazy.
favorites. And
Go with
Jade Reed
Jake.
is still on the board, but obviously I'm not going to go that
I
route.
feel like your time has run out.
Yeah, they probably would have skipped over the Chargers pick in this circumstance if I took this much time. But to kind of go, look, in this type of scenario with these certain guys on the board, obviously I know where I would go. But given that my last 3 picks have been on the offensive side of the ball and I'm trying to be as realistic as I can, Brandon Staley is going to come out of this draft one way or another with another secondary player. So in this case, I'd have him selecting Jair Brown.
Penn State safety Jair Brown, your newest Los Angeles Charger for I want Jake D. Hefner. Drafts are complete, my friend. Jake's Hall, Will McDonald, edge, Josh Downs, wide receiver, Tucker Kraft, tight end, then goes back to receiver with Marvin Mims, and then followed
Which
by Jair
I think
Brown.
that they have ridiculously put way too low as far as the rankings for Marvin Mims goes on this.
I concur. Next to that, Bijan Robinson, Isaiah Foskey, Nathaniel Tank Dell, and Trey Palmer. Jake, looking at these. If you didn't know that you did the left one, I did the right one. Which one of these would you rather have?
I mean, it's hard to argue with the playmakers that you got on yours, man. It really is. I mean, obviously, Bijan Robinson carries a lot of weight in your particular draft. You're higher on Tank Dell than I am. Not to say that I dislike Tank Dell, but you're higher on him. Well, hang on a second. You're way higher on Tank Dell than I think anybody.
But are you third round Tank Dell? Like where do you think he is?
Oh, I would definitely take Tank Dell in the 3rd round. For
Okay,
sure.
right.
But you are essentially his patriarch for
That's right.
this NFL draft.
Microphone.
And Trey Palmer, you back that up with those 2 guys back to back. I mean, talk about speed. You solve that problem in this particular.
Could you imagine if they went that route? If they went Bijan, Tank Dell, and Trey Palmer, like the Chargers fan base would have nothing to complain about speed anymore.
Yep.
So,
who wins?
which one? Like which one would you take? Like if you had your choice, you woke up, the day after round 4 or the minute after round 4 ended, and you were presented these 2 options. Which would you take? This is tough for me, to be honest.
It's very tough, honestly, because I have a lot of bias as far as the Chargers should be trading down and should have done that, started doing that years ago. So, of course, I know that would I rather trade down? I mean, in my particular scenario, I didn't have the luxury of getting Bijan Robinson to fall to me at 21.
Because you didn't have 21.
Right, because I traded out of it. But I also didn't have Bijan on the board. I believe he went before 21.
Yes, but I believe you would have traded down anyways.
If Bijan was on the board, I would have given it a hell of a lot more consideration.
True.
That's for sure.
Okay.
And mind you, I could have executed a trade at any point in this draft.
Mm-hmm.
But to get the most value out of it, I, of course, have to pull the trigger in round 1. So if I woke up, honestly, my eyes probably would go to Dan's more, specifically because of the Bijan Robinson selection. And then you back that up with Isaiah Foskey, who I think is going to be a really, really good rotational edge rusher for the Chargers to start off. And you solve the speed problem, that's for sure. Now, we don't know what's following these picks. Obviously, we just limited this to a 4-round mock draft to start, but that ain't bad. That ain't bad. Now, I like mine for the standpoint that I covered a lot of different bases on mine.
You are underselling yours, my friend. That's for damn sure.
I mean, you definitely get Justin Herbert some weapons here. New tight end and 2 wide receivers to play with. You take care of the 2-for-1 prediction that a lot of people are now putting into effect for the standpoint that the Chargers do not have wide receiver 4 and 5 that they had on their team last year. And I can't knock my love for Will McDonald. I really love him as a player, and to trade back and to still get him at 34 is pretty good.
That's good value. So
I think a lot of people would side with yours, Dan.
You think?
Specifically, hell, for Bijan alone, you could have drafted Bijan and then just probably
Jake Hefner, Dan Wolkenstein,
closed your eyes like
Joe Schmo,
offensive lineman, and they still probably would have sided with your draft.
We shall see. So again, this is mock draft dueling 1.0. We will go ahead and do this next time. It's only fair. I will get to trade down. Jake will stick and pick.
Are we staying at 4 rounds, Dan, or are we going to extend it a little further?
We could extend it further.
How about we extend it a little bit further? Let's have some more fun.
Okay. So that's going to do it for our first mock draft, which is crazy that we're doing it with less than a month before the draft. I feel like it's took us a while to do. These are always fun. Again, how realistic? Who knows? We try to make this as fair as possible for each of us. What'd you think? Would you have done these same picks? Would you have gone a different direction? Let us know in the comments. Jake, anything else we want to talk to our great friends? Are you feeling good about... Okay, real quick. Are you feeling good about yours without getting a running back and also, of course, not getting Bijan Robinson? Are you going running back in round 5 in your scenario?
I mean, I probably would definitely look to reload that. Again, even if Austin Ekeler is still part of this team and is still your primary running back, you have Joshua Kelly, Isaiah Spiller to back him up. I would think that you would bring in someone to compete with Larry Roundtree, and I would assume that whoever it is that you would bring in would beat him out for that scenario. So yeah, I'd still look to reload it. I mean, considering Tom Telesco's track record over the last 3 years in drafting running backs, he's got to get it right sometime. So yeah. And spoiler alert, I would be bringing in someone with a much different dynamic than both Kelly and Spiller. So that's also what kind of tailored my decision-making for passing on a running back to ultimately would have probably been the 5th round.
Got it. All right. Well, we both will have another chance to redeem ourselves as we get to 2.0, probably next week is what I'm guessing. Jake, anything else you want to tell the great friends before they real quick go and hit the like and subscribe button to help us out? Because I know it means a ton to us.
It's always fun doing mock drafts. It's always fun coming up with these wacky scenarios. I love the ones where people send out to say like, hey, what do you think of this? And the Chargers have executed like 3 trade backs and they have like 12 picks. And I'm like, look, I love it. It looks great on paper. But unfortunately, we have yet to see our GM execute anything close to that. So we got to keep it as real as possible. I know we live up here in our head for the things that we want as far as the mock drafts goes, and they're great and they're a lot of fun, just like this was. But we'll see when April 27th comes around what actually happens. Let's see if the right decision is actually made.
Unfortunately, Chargers championships don't get made on paper. If they did, the Chargers would have a lot of them.
Well, let's be honest, Dan, Chargers championships haven't been made at all. So whether you're building them on paper, you're building them out of brick, wood, concrete, whatever the hell it is, just build one. Damn.
I'll take feathers. I'll take a feather built championship anytime.
I mean, the softest material you got. If you could tell me that that's going to end up getting the Chargers a championship, I'll take it. Fine.
I'll take a down feather championship. Yeah. Please, Alex.
With a little mint on the pillow.
Remind me to tell you later about a funny story about mint on the pillow. I got a great one for you. All right, for Jake Hefner, you can find him at Jake D. Hefner, myself at Dan W. Sports. Again, thank you, guys, for tuning into Chargers Unleashed. We'll talk to you next time as we get into our cornerback rankings and best fits for the Los Angeles Chargers. Talk to you guys next time. Bye.